Welcome back. In this lesson, we're going to continue with the YelpCamp app, and we're going to add in the feature or the ability for a user to submit a new campground. So there are a few things we need to do. The first one is to set up the post route that will actually create the new campground, add it into the array. Then we need to add in body parser and make sure that it's imported correctly and configured. And then we have two other steps here that concern creating the form and creating the route for the form where a user can go to actually send that post request. So we'll get to that. We're going to start by setting up the post route. So I'm still in V1, and I'm going to open up app.js and add in our post route. And I'll just do that at the bottom. And I'm going to do app.post. And rather than doing something like /new campground or add campground, I'm actually going to do /campgrounds. So that's the exact same URL as we have for our get route, but they're totally different routes because one is a get and one is a post. And I'm not just doing this to show you that, in fact, we can have the same URL with a different request method and they're actually different routes. Yes, that's part of it. This is actually all part of a convention for how we name our routes. So we have a lot of freedom in how we name our routes, but there's actually a convention called REST. And we're going to be coming back to this in future videos. But all I want to say on it right now is that to make our routes follow this convention called REST, when we have a page that shows all of the campgrounds, the URL should be /campgrounds. When we have a page or a route where we can create a new campground, it should be the exact same URL, /campgrounds, but it should be a post request. So that is a convention. It's a format that we're going to follow. If we're doing this for friends, we would have /friends as a get, would show all the friends, and /friends as a post is where we send a post request to make a new friend. So we'll get a lot more practice with that. This is just the very, very first introduction to it, but there are actually 7 different routes that are RESTful that follow this REST convention that we'll be seeing later. So inside of here, what we want to do is 2 things. We want to get data from form and add to campgrounds array. And then we also want to redirect back to campgrounds page, back to this route. So we have the app.post set up, and we can always just do a res.send in here. You hit the post route, and then we can test it out with Postman. So I'll just copy the URL here, go back to Postman, and the route that we're testing is /campgrounds as a post, not a get. If we did it as a get request, it doesn't actually matter because our server's not started. The HTML and CSS that we see here is the error page, this error page that Cloud9 gives us. So we need to start the server. And now if we go back and make the same get request, we'll see the list with the images and the H1s. And if we do a post request, we should just get a little message that says you hit the post route. Okay, so that's all we'll do with Postman. Proves to us that it's working as a post route. And what we'll do next is install body parser. So we need to do npm install body-parser --save. And then we'll import it up here with var body parser equals require body-parser and save. And then we need to tell Express to use body parser. So we'll do app.use body parser, and then we also need to do the .url encoded, and then we pass in an object, and all that we need to do is add extended : true. And remember, this is a line that we'll just see all the time. You can just get used to either memorizing it or just copying and pasting it. And we'll save, and now we have body parser set up, and we can tell if it works just by running app.js, and if we don't get an error, we're good to go. Now let's focus on the form. So before, what I had shown you is the Friends app where we had the form on the same page as the Friends list. But that's not the approach we're going to take here. Rather, we'll have a complete separate page and route that will actually show the form. It will be the form to make a new campground, and then you submit the form. That sends a post request to /campgrounds as a post, and then we're redirected back to campgrounds. So we're going to make a separate page. So to do that, we need a separate route, and we can just do that at the bottom here or in between, doesn't really matter. App.get, and this will be /campgrounds /new. And again, this could be anything that we want it to, but this is the RESTful convention. So this is the third of those conventional names. The first one was /campgrounds as a get, should show you all the campgrounds. /campgrounds as a post is the route where you can create a new campground. And then /campground/new should show the form that will send the data to this post route. So let's flesh this out. And all that it needs to do is render a form. We don't need to pass in any data or anything. So we'll just do a res.render, and the form we'll just call new.ejs, just like that, and save. Now back over here in our views directory, we're going to make that template. So touch views/new.ejs, and then we'll open that template. And inside the template, let's add in an H1 that says create a new campground. And then we'll add in a form tag. And this form tag, we need to have action, and we need to have method. And remember, method should be post, and action should be /campgrounds, which is the route here, app.post/campgrounds. So this is where we'll get the form data and add to the campgrounds array. And inside, we need two different inputs. So the first one is type equals text, and the placeholder will just be name. And the second one we'll do placeholder is image URL. And let's just do like that. And we'll keep it as type equal to text. And then we need our button at the bottom. And here we'll just say submit and save. And then we also need the name attribute on both of these. So name on this will be equal to just name. And here we'll have name is equal to image. And we use this name attribute instead of our route to grab the data from the request.body. Before we do that, let's make sure this form is showing up correctly. So we're going to start the server. And to visit this route, we need to go to /campgrounds/new. And we get our form. Excellent. We're not getting any of that bootstrap styling. Not that it looks like much, but we're not getting it because we don't have our layouts included. We don't have the header and the footer. So we can also, so let's also add that in. Include partials/header, and then copy this line down here and include partials/footer. Restart the server, go back. Now we get the beautiful bootstrap, and we have the header file and then our footer down here as well. And we can test this out to see if it's going to the right route by just typing anything into here and hitting submit. And we get you hit the post route, which means that our code, the form, is submitting a post request to /campgrounds, and we're getting this res.send. But rather than sending this, we actually want to add the logic in to make this work. And remember, to get the data from the form, we use request.body, and then we have request.body.name and request.body.image. And I'll save those to a variable, so var name and var image. And then what we want to do is push a new campground into our array here. And in order for that to work, we have to move this out so that it's not inside of the app.get. We'll just put it up top. And that's not where it's going to stay. Remember, we're moving to a database very soon. But for now, we're putting it up top so that we have access to it inside of this post route in the callback function. So we're going to push a new campground into the campgrounds array. So campgrounds.push, and we need to push in an object. So I'm going to make that new object with a variable. So I'm going to call it var new campground is an object, and we have name is equal to name, and image is equal to image. Just so that we match this format here where we have name and image. And then the last thing we need to do is push new campground, just like that, save, and then let's redirect back to the campgrounds page. So that will be res.redirect to /campgrounds. And yes, we do have two /campgrounds, but when we do a redirect, the default is to redirect as a GET request. So we'll save, and let's test it out. Go back, refresh, Let's add in a new campground. We'll just call this one Daisy Mountain, and we need a image URL. Just copy this one here. Go back, hit submit. And to tell if it worked, we'll need to scroll down. And there we go. Beautiful Daisy Mountain. Pretty stunning site. Let's go back and review a few things. There's a lot that we did. The first thing I want to bring up are the routes that we made. So we now have app.get/campgrounds, which shows us all the campgrounds. We have app.post/campgrounds, the same URL, and that's where we actually do the logic of making a new campground and then redirecting to /campgrounds. And then we have app.get/campgrounds/new, and that shows the form. So remember, campgrounds/new shows the form, which submits a post request to /campgrounds, which then in turn redirects us back to /campgrounds as a get, which then will show us all of the campgrounds using the campground template. It's a little bit of a complicated flow, definitely. There's a lot of moving pieces, but this is a recipe that we'll be following a lot. So we have a form, sends a post request somewhere, and then inside that post route, we take the form data, we do something with it, and then we redirect back somewhere else. So it's really typical for a post route to redirect you to another route. The very last thing we should do is open up the campgrounds template. So we'll do C9 views/campgrounds, and we'll just add a simple link up top. We'll make it a anchor tag to start, href equals /campgrounds/new, and the inner text will be add new campground, just like that. And then we'll save, and then we can restart the server. And let's go back here to the landing page, or to the campgrounds page, excuse me, and we have add new campground. We click on it, and we get to the campgrounds page, and then we can add our new campground. We should also add a back button so that we can go back to view all campgrounds. So on the new template at the bottom, we'll just include our own anchor tag here. href should be equal to /campgrounds, and this will just say back or go back. Restart the server one last time, refresh, add a new campground, go back. Okay, so now we have the link set up correctly. In the next video, we're going to focus on some basic styling.